So I guess now that we're only like a few hours away from the end of the test, I guess I'll give my thoughts on the good, bad stuff that could be improved and maybe some suggestions. Um, I guess first thing, I obviously had like a ton of fun playing this. I streamed like every day for like probably way too many hours. I was just on this game, not really doing anything else. Um, the I guess the I guess the biggest change that they made, I don't know if it was different from closed online test 1, but it was the partying up with people for EXP. That felt super good. Like everyone was like really friendly and like most people were willing to party up. There were a few like solo grinders that didn't want to party up, but for the most part, everything, like the social aspect of the game and party grinding was always a plus. And I met a lot of nice people here that probably chat again in the future. I guess another good thing is that they fixed the accuracy formula, because I did like a 4:1 ratio of strength to dex, and I didn't really have any issues hitting anything. Like the only times I would miss is when the monsters were like at least 2 to 3 levels above me, which is fair, I think. But it's not like I was missing 100% of the time. And then they also actually took the feedback really quickly on the cooldowns for the mobility skills. Like I know people were really upset with that, and they actually kind of hot fixed it, to be honest. So if they're actually willing to like be receptive to changes like that, then that does bode well, because although they shouldn't just like insta give into everyone. And anytime people complain about something, I think it was good that they decided to kind of swiftly change that, because I know that it just makes the game more fun when you can use your mobility skills a bit more often. And I guess for hermits and now chief bandits, it was a very iconic ability to kind of flash up around the map. And it's good that every class at least has some way of traversing it, where in the past it would just be like assassins and hermits would just be able to, and also mages would be able to just kind of dance around everybody, and everyone else just had to like walk and didn't have any way of like dodging attacks or even just getting to locations faster. So I'm super happy about the rush skill. Let's see, what other good things were there? I think this is going to depend on how they implement like smegas and SP resets. And especially SP resets, because I think one of the kind of key things is that it seems like it allows you to kind of test your builds around. So I think as long as they're not too expensive, people will be willing to kind of play around with like whatever build they think is either more fun or better. And it was essentially how we were testing out everything in third job, but even some of the build paths in first and second job benefit from that as well. And I guess later on, I think a lot of classes will remove a lot of the skill points from some of the old attacking skills in first job, and then we'll be able to kind of get all the benefits from first job. Like theoretically, I'm not going to need these anymore, so I can max like HP increase and put some into Iron Body. And I know for mages, they technically don't need like Energy Bolt and Magic Claw anymore, so they can put into their other skills. And I think same thing goes with the Smegas. I think I don't think it should necessarily be free, but it did obviously make the game feel much more alive, that even if there was like sometimes spam and like kind of dumb messages in Smegas, I think just the overall experience is just way better compared to like current GMS, where people don't really buy that many Smegas. And I know they took away the reward points Smegas, so there's just a lot less in general. And yeah, having people like constantly chatting does make the game feel more alive, even if there is some spam and things like that. I guess trying to think of some negatives so far. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is the, I guess, quest EXP. I do feel like the quest gives like way too little for how much work you have to actually do. Oh. And that goes for KPQ as well. It seems like the main benefit of KPQ is just getting to like the final stage, because that allows you to farm at like the mushrooms, which is very meso positive because you're not gonna get hit too much. And it just kind of felt like that was the whole purpose of doing KPQ. You get like a small reward, but you're trying to essentially during KPQ you're trying not to burn pots too much, so that people, and because of that, people end up skipping King Slime. Like they just wait for it to respawn. This is not really too much of a negative in my opinion. It's just kind of the way they designed it. But the early game obviously is quite difficult. Like you can't just constantly be taking attacks. Like you have to actually pay a lot of attention when you're training, especially coming from a warrior, right? Like every time you take a hit, that's like X amount of meso gone, and you're taking hits constantly, so that's it's good that you have to pay attention. That means that like people are actively like focusing on like trying to get as many kills as possible, trying to save meso and things like that. But I do think the early game maybe could be a tad bit improved in terms of meso. In fact, I think monsters as a whole just drop like way too little meso for how much damage they actually deal. Because if you look at I think they were saying that like Banes are like the highest level monster in the game, and they hit you for like what, like 500, 600, and they only give you like 200 EXP. So that's definitely something that should be improved. It feels like they do need to scale up the EXP to level for monsters, and they need to, well, maybe not the XP, but more like the meso that it drops, because every hit you take is almost like you kill one and you get hit once, then it doesn't even pay for itself. So I don't know how you're supposed to stay meso positive if you can't take like any hits at all. Let me think, what else was there? Oh, I think there's so many people here. I guess one of the things I feel like there should be some more weapon, or not weapon, I mean some more item options besides like you see the lemons here, lemons and meat. Like there should be an incentive to buy some to buy some more like higher healing like HP pots and MP pots. Because I don't think we should be using like lemons and meat like the entire time. It would just feel kind of odd. If we were like running like pretty difficult bosses using just those two because people are like out of money. So I think there needs to be a slight rebalancing of different potion options. Like you can, I think they should maybe add some more like quite expensive ones. Like let's just say, do I have any, for example? Probably like unagis at the minimum and pure waters, where the ratio is pretty good, but you won't be needing this early on. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Discord picture. But I think overall I don't have like too many negatives, especially because they kind of changed they did take into account the feedback from Third Job. And I think that's still like a work in progress. I guess another positive is Forgotten Hollow. I really did enjoy exploring that area. I'm hoping more regions come out like that, like more original content, where like it's in the spirit of classic. Because just like a comparison to like modern Maple, basically whenever you reach a new town, it doesn't really like matter. The monsters there are just essentially all the same. They only exist just to be a different level. Whereas like you do need to like make your way through like Forgotten Hollow. You get to see like some new interesting mob designs. I know a lot of them are actually like rehashed, so could be improved there, but overall I just like the feel of that region. The BGM was pretty good, and it makes me wonder if they're gonna add more like dark areas to Victoria Island as a whole, because it looks like that kind of ties back to, I think they were talking about Tristan from like Deep Ant Tunnel leading to like the Balrog area. So I wonder if they're going to have like more regions like that, like let's say like really deep Pirion, and they're gonna like alter what we got like Big Bang onward, because we got stuff like the construction site and things like that. I think that stuff has some relation to Black Mage. I don't know if they're how much they're gonna tie in that to like classic lore, but I hope they add some more places like that to Victoria Island, because Victoria Island is just so iconic, and it would just kind of be like, once all of like the better spots come out, like in Ludi, Leaf Ray and all that stuff, there's obviously not going to be as many people in Victoria Island, so giving it a little bit more like staying power and more quests and things like that. Just hope that they add more to Victoria Island. I'm trying to think of anything else that I wanted to talk about. Oh, I guess for crafting, it looked like it got a lot more difficult to craft this time around than in the first test. And it really does feel like that's going to be like a major focus, because for crafting, like you need to go through all these steps to get to like these level 50 equipment. So I hope that like they actually add on to this, adding like obviously higher level equipment and things like that. I do think they kind of balance how long it takes to level up, because you just end up crafting like all these like low level like ingots and stuff for like the majority of it. Same thing goes for like everything else. And you honestly end up like losing money doing that. So I do think they need to increase the like sellability. That's another thing. They need to increase how much like equipment drops like NPC for. So that'll go a little bit. That'll help out a bit in terms of like the early game meso struggles. And if stuff, it doesn't need an NPC for like a lot more, but the stuff that you craft, if you can, you know, break even when you're just crafting stuff to level up, because like if you decide to craft like these items like the metal coif and whatnot, all these low level items that people probably are not going to want, like I don't think you're going to be able to sell that to people for much at all. So it just ends up being like a sunk cost. So I do hope that they improve the prices a little bit, so that you're not just like losing money. Like you don't want to lose money during training, you don't want to lose money during like crafting either. So I'm trying to think if I had anything else that I wanted to talk about. I guess there were some nice additions like the Orbis and Elnath return scrolls, although it does make the rock scrolls like not as good. So that's like one minor downside. But overall, I really just think that like it looks like people were mostly having fun with the game. I think the only like negative notes were during that first day of the third job test, where people seemingly were just complaining about like everything. But once they kind of fixed mobility skills a bit, it seems like people were having a fun time. Obviously, there's some like balance things that need to be adjusted, but yeah, I think they're definitely putting a lot of effort into this. So even if the changes are not all positive, it's good that they're deciding to like to try out new things. Because if it's just a one-to-one copy of like old school, I mean, I it would still be fun, but like it's not going to be any different than let's say just a specific like old private server that's just a one-to-one copy, and all that stuff is basically figured out and optimized already, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm just trying to think if there was any specific else that I could think of. We just like go through a few of these just to see. Oh yeah, I guess there was a few gripes about warriors. I won't go into too specific about that, but another like I guess problem is like the defense formula, because it really does just feel like the only purpose of armor pieces is for the extra stat that it gives. Like realistically, these could give like 0 defense, and you would hardly notice a difference. Like you only want these for the offensive stat boost that it gives, which I think is a bit silly. I mean, defense was always bad, but it seems like they haven't really solved that. Like it's just so unimpactful that it's just not worth it. Like early on, I just didn't even buy them because I didn't want to waste money. I just bought a better weapon. I wish I had covered a bit more in the like citizenship thing. I just never got around to it until like midway through the online test, and couldn't really form thoughts on that. But my general opinion is I don't really like them adding dailies to this. Kind of ruins the whole point, because it's supposed to be classic. There were no like dailies and like things that in a way force you to log on to do them. So you basically just want to play when you want to play, and that's how it should be. Yeah, so I think those are probably everything that I kind of noticed during this. See if I'll, since we do have a little more time until like the picture, see if I can remember anything else. The photo shoot for like the official one is going to be in, according to Inkwell, it's about an hour and 15. There's one for like the unofficial Classic Discord. But yeah, that'll be in 15 minutes. Then the main one will be in an hour in Orbis, and there's gonna be everyone there, and it's gonna be so crowded. Yeah, I think they should. I mean, honestly, yeah, as they're kind of continuing to work on Third Job a bit, like, maybe they could, like, tweak some numbers, but overall, I think the game is mostly ready for release. So I'm hoping that they release it this year. I mean, it'll be pretty sad if it's released in 2027 or beyond. Yeah, there's like a bit too many people here, and everyone's just using their like mock table stuff. So yeah, I think though that probably is all my thoughts on the beta so far. Maybe I'll if there's like anything else, maybe I'll just like tack it on. But yeah, just like some of the main things that I think are good, bad, and maybe need improvement.